At 11 p.m. on July 4, 1976, a black Mercedes rolled off a cargo plane in Uganda. It was designed to look like the car of Idi Amin, one of the most brutal dictators in Africa. Behind it, two Land Rovers filled with Israeli commandos dressed in Ugandan army uniforms. They had just flown 2,500 miles, 7 hours, to an airport controlled by a hostile government. Their mission: rescue 106 hostages being held by terrorists who had the full support of Uganda's military. The entire operation would last 53 minutes. By the end, 102 hostages would be free, all 7 hijackers would be dead, and 1 Israeli soldier would be dying in the arms of a medic. That soldier's name was Yonatan Netanyahu. His younger brother Benjamin would later become Prime Minister of Israel. This is Operation Entebbe. June 27, 1976. Air France Flight 139 takes off from Tel Aviv, heading to Paris with a stopover in Athens. On board, 246 passengers and a crew of 12. Among them, 104 Israeli nationals. In Athens, 58 passengers get off. 55 new ones get on. 4 of those passengers are carrying guns and grenades hidden in their bags. Minutes after takeoff, they storm the cockpit. 2 are Palestinians from the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. 2 are Germans from the Revolutionary Cells, a leftist terror group. The leader is a German named Wilfried Bose. They put a gun to Captain Michel Bekos's head. They force him to fly to Libya first, refuel, then south to Entebbe Airport in Uganda. They land with 20 minutes of fuel left. Waiting for them on the tarmac, Ugandan soldiers, and one very large man in a military uniform covered in self-awarded medals. Idi Amin, President of Uganda. The hijackers move the passengers into an old abandoned terminal building. It's filthy, the plumbing is broken, flies everywhere. Their demands? Release 53 Palestinian and pro-Palestinian militants from prisons in Israel and 4 other countries, plus $5 million. If not, they'll start killing hostages on July 1st. And then they do something that sends a chill through the Israeli cabinet. They separate the passengers. Israelis and Jews to one room, everyone else to another. Some of the hostages are Holocaust survivors. They've heard this before: selection. The non-Jewish passengers are released over the next 2 days. So now, Israel has 106 people, run by a dictator who thinks he's on the terrorists' side. And the deadline is 3 days away. Israel's cabinet meets. Defense Minister Shimon Peres pushes for a military rescue. Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin isn't sure. The distance is insane. The intel is thin. Idi Amin has an army. But they start planning anyway. And they get a break. The terminal the hostages are being held in, it was built by an Israeli construction company. They still have the blueprints. Here's what makes this operation nearly impossible. Entebbe is 2,500 miles from Israel. Israeli C-130 cargo planes can make it, barely, but they'd need to refuel on the way back. They get secret permission from Kenya to land in Nairobi. The terminal is guarded by Ugandan soldiers, not just the 7 hijackers. The commandos will be outnumbered at least 5 to 1. So they build a partial replica of the terminal in Israel and rehearse the assault. And they come up with the Mercedes. Israeli intelligence knows Idi Amin travels in a black Mercedes sedan with Land Rover escorts. They figure, if we roll up looking like Amin's motorcade, the Ugandan soldiers might hesitate just for a few seconds. They find a Mercedes, but it's white. Amin drives a black one, or so they think. They paint it black. make fake license plates from cardboard, attach little Ugandan flags to the front. What they don't know, Amin recently switched to a white Mercedes. The cabinet hasn't even given final approval yet. They're debating while the planes are already in the air. At 11 p.m. local time, the first C-130 touches down at Entebbe with its cargo doors already open. Out rolls the black Mercedes, 2 Land Rovers, 35 commandos in Ugandan uniforms. The assault team is led by Israel's most elite Special Forces unit. They drive toward the old terminal at about 40 miles per hour, headlights on, looking like a presidential motorcade. And then, a problem. 2 Ugandan sentries step into the road and raise their rifles. They know Amin's car is white now, not black. Netanyahu's deputy, Muki Betzer, urges him to keep driving. But Netanyahu makes a different call. He orders a soldier in the back seat to shoot the sentries. The silent shots don't kill them. One of the wounded soldiers raises his rifle. The Land Rovers behind open fire with unsuppressed AK-47s. The element of surprise is gone. Netanyahu yells at his men, "Go! Move!" They abandon the vehicles and sprint the last 30 yards to the terminal on foot. Inside are 106 hostages on the ground floor, 7 terrorists, dozens of Ugandan soldiers. The commandos burst through the doors, shouting in Hebrew and English, "Get down! Stay down!" One of the German hijackers, Wilfried Bose, hesitates. He's holding a gun, but doesn't fire. For a split second, he just freezes. The Israelis don't hesitate. Within 3 minutes, all 7 hijackers are dead. But in the chaos, 3 hostages are killed, caught in crossfire, or shot by accident. And outside the terminal, Yonatan Netanyahu is hit. A bullet, likely from the airport control tower, strikes him in the chest. He collapses. The unit medic reaches him, but there's nothing to do. Yonatan Netanyahu dies in his arms. The commandos keep moving. They load 102 hostages onto the C-130s. On the way out, they destroy 11 Ugandan MiG fighter jets on the ground, just in case anyone tries to follow. When the planes land in Israel the next morning, the country erupts. But in Israel, it's something else entirely. 102 hostages rescued, 1 soldier killed, a mission that seemed impossible, pulled off in under an hour. Yonatan Netanyahu becomes a national hero. The operation is renamed Operation Yonatan in his honor. Captain Bakos, the pilot who refused to leave his passengers, flew home to France. The Israeli government gave him a medal. So did France. On the flight back to Israel after the rescue, the commandos put him in the cockpit, a gesture of respect. The Entebbe raid changed how the world thought about hostage rescue. It proved it could be done, thousands of miles away, against overwhelming odds in under an hour. If you like this video, you will love others too. Subscribe and see everything first.